Evan Connolly. Number 12, Cam Downey. Number 14, Luke Sonnen. Number 15, Ryan Sheldrake. Number 16, Keegan Latty. Number 17, Sasha Zook. Number 18, Brendan Marcher. Number 20, Jason Weatherby. Number 21, Cole Kennett. Number 23, Eli Smith. Number 39, Kai Stewartson. Number 41, Miles Gifford. Number 88, Brandon Kirkby. And number 93, Tag Boo. And now, led by head coach Tyler Kirkby, here come your Burnaby Lakers. Number 00, Arjun Gill, starting in goal. Number 35, Declan Morrison, back up in goal. Number 2, Keon Yardo. Number 5, Alexander Cartwright. Number 6, Jeremy Law. Number 7, Sean Moores. Number 8, Daniel Batiston. Number 9, Aiden Wati. Number 10, Caden Urquhart. Number 12, Hey. Number 13, Bryce Manson Gordon. Number 16, Amaso Biron. Number 17, Tyler Gaultier. Number 20, Oscar Lucas. Number 21, Wyatt Hoffer. Number 23, Ben Hobson. Number 27, Luke Cartwright. Number 31, Michael Hibbert. Number 44, Spencer White. And number 77, Govind Sagu. Fans, at this time, we would ask that you please rise if you are able, and please remove your caps for the playing of the Canadian National Anthem.
Another Wednesday evening in beautiful Burnaby, where the Lakers are riding the high of their first win of the season. Don't get it twisted, though. This group remains laser focused, and that focus is something they'll need to maintain, because swimming through the murky waters of the swamp are the new Westminster Salmonbellies. Welcome in to that swamp, ladies and gentlemen. Home of the Burnaby Lakers, home of Trickshot. As we meaning Tino Farah here, alongside this fantastic crew, Trickshot, are here and ready to get you set for this Junior A matchup between Burnaby and New Westminster. Some pretty notable names out of the lineup this evening for New West specifically. Most specifically being Ren Glanville and Lincoln Twomley. A little bit banged up in their loss last night, but will look to lean on their depth to try to avenge themselves from that loss against the Langley Thunder. Arjun Gill gets the start in goal for Burnaby. It's actually his first action since July 3rd of 2025, when he was a member of the Langley Thunder. That was in a winning effort, and it came against this Burnaby Lakers team. Now, of course, on the side of the green, and will try to backstop his team in his first start of the season. Actually spent some time as a member of the New Westminster Salmonbellies as recent as last year. Now, of course, on the other side of this historic rivalry, New West with possession, and straight to goal goes Graham Farstad. Unable to get that past Arjun Gill. Won't be registered as a shot either, as that came in the effort, resulting in a crease violation. Kyan Yargo is going to go straight to the goal. He'll get back up top to Oscar Lucas, who will drive through bodies and touchdown in the crease as well. 2 offensive sets in totality split between the two teams. Neither result as a shot on goal. More to come. Into the lineup this evening for Burnaby is Bryce Manson-Gordon, called up from the Junior B Tier 1 team. Here's Scotty Williams, newly acquired with the Bellies, formerly a member of the Delta Islanders, but played his first game as a Belly last night. And he'll be leaned on pretty heavily, especially with no Twomley in the lineup this evening. It's Hofer. He's going to turn on the Jets and enter the offensive zone. Decides to peel back, though, and there's those wheels to get off for a change. Now Tommaso Biron over to Yargo. He had that drive earlier on. Maybe he wants the shot this time. He does! He scores! Kyan Yargo opens the scoring for Burnaby. That goes 5-hole just underneath the Boris Maximenko, and a good start for the Lakers. Now how do they follow it up? Great work on the screen by Spencer White. Takes 2 bodies out of the play, and Maximenko just can't quite seal the 5-hole. There's a look at our new player animations here for the Lakers. That'll be the second goal of the season for Kyan Yargo. He had the game winner in their first win of the season versus Delta. Riley Alexander, a sneaky shot. He tried to just float it over the shoulder of Gill. May have caught a little bit of the crossbar. Back to work go the Bellies on the reset. Here's Farstad. He gets top side on Hibbert. Dishes over to the opposite wing, though, and a bounce shot bounces early and out of play. Govin Sangu will pick it up. Now Sagu's going to go to goal. A sidearm shot that goes well wide. Spencer White will pick it up. He won't pick up an assist on the opening goal, but call it a phantom assist with the amount of work that he did. Here's Alexander Cartwright. Swing over to Lucas. He's got a little room downhill, but closed off quickly. Trying to gain topside. Absorbs some contact, and again looks low on Maximenko. An easier stop for him this time around. Kicks that all the way over center up to Tag Moog. Formerly of the Poco Saints, was picked up in the offseason. Sasha Zook. Swing pass over to Keegan Lady. He'll rise one into Gill's midsection. Handled that well. Keegan Lady coming out of Maple Ridge, British Columbia. He's got 6 goals on the year so far. Now Waddy leaping his way in, and leaping to catch that was Lucas. Yargo, the opening goal, swings back across. Fake shot from Biron. Tries to give the old stiff arm to his defender. Now the dunk isn't going to fool Maximenko. He read that well. It's Aiden Waddy behind the goal. Just couldn't quite sell Maximenko on one way. Now Ryan Sheldrake, another offseason acquisition by the Bellies. Came over from Langley. Now Zook. Feed to the corner. This is Lady. Working on Hobson. Flip back up top, and he couldn't quite connect that with Brandon Kirby. Now Farstad on the near wing. A hard screen set by Riley Alexander. Farstad still able to get the shot off, and Gill did a good job to handle that rebound. Declan Morrison backing up in this game. The first game for Burnaby that he hasn't started, and Gauthier can't stuff that under Maximenko. Now Moog, he's got an open lane. Does he want to drive? Forced wide, though, by Bryce Manson-Gordon. Here is Scotty Williams. Connolly Another one over to the far wing. Going to work now is Brady Schnurr. Back across Alexander, looking to go underneath, switches angles, and rebound just out of the reach of Gill. Alexander has it again. He just has 2 seconds to shoot. He puts it off the post and in. Oh, how did that get through? Riley Alexander, another Maple Ridge product, evens things up at 1. Looked like that was just a shot for a rebound, and I think that's exactly what it was. We'll see here how the bounce fooled Gill. Looks like it just goes under the arm. And you can see Gill reading his angle as if he's trying to punch that to the corner, which is the right move, but just whiffed. Maybe a lucky break for New Westminster, but good to be lucky, lucky to be good, something like that. This New West team comes into this game with a 2-1 record, handed their first loss of this early season last night at home versus Langley, a 10-7 loss. They actually trailed by 2 heading into the third period of that game. Ren Glanville wound up scoring 2 goals in 5 seconds to kick off that period. But the difference came in an unlikely form for Langley. It was Koji Okuyama who scored a third period hat trick. And that wound up being the difference maker in favor of Langley. One of those goals even coming in a short-handed effort. They had, or New West, excuse me, allowed a power play goal against and a short-handed goal against last night. And the shorty came from Okuyama. Here's Daniel Battiston. Nice move on Cole Kennett, formerly of the Coquitlam Adnax. Lucas, also a member of that Adnax team, en route to a Minto last year. His shot goes off of Maximenko, and he picks up the rebound himself. Good communication you can hear from assistant coach Marcus Klarich, letting Oscar Lucas know that they do indeed have the fresh 30. Behind the goal, Battiston to the perimeter for Lucas. Backing away from the high defender. Miles Gifford closes in. Nice move by Lucas and a better save by Maximenko. Got the glove up just in the nick of time. And Burnaby looking for that rebound again, but cannot find it. A better effort defensively by Cam Downey. It appears we're only mentioning the Maple Ridge kids. Well, here's another one. Scotty Williams back onto the floor. The old Maple Ridge connection. Alexander is also back on. Nice pass through to Alexander, and wasn't expecting it. Williams drags underneath of Sagu. Passes to the outside now. It's picked up by Schnurr. Near side, Alexander couldn't find another one. So he knocks his man down from behind. Here's A.J. Payne. He wants to go to goal. A nice screen. Oh, and he put it over the net. And Bryce Manson-Gordon knocks down aggressively near the crease. Payne has got to get off the floor now and get some fresh legs on. He and Manson-Gordon both get to the bench. Graham Farstad to the half wall for Williams. Screen set by Lady. Pass across the floor. Connolly wants to go, gets through his man, and puts it into the top corner. A beauty from New West, and they'll take their first lead. First of the season as well for Evan Connolly. The New West product just out-muscles the defender, Luke Harish-Blight. Get off me, he says, and puts that into the top corner. Connolly coming off of his freshman year at SFU. There's actually quite a few SFU products in this game. One of them actually, Ren Glanville, not in the game, of course. Already mentioned that, a little bit banged up after their game last night. Farstad, hands are free, scores back-to-back for New West. They score 3 straight. Burnaby's got to find a way to settle things down here. It's a game of runs, as we all know. But 3 straight for New West, including the latest 2 in very quick succession. Just looking over at the bench right now, and Declan Morrison appears to be putting his uppers on. Have to wonder if we may see a shortened leash on Arjun Gill if New West, is able to find another one quickly. There's a hard hit into the boards led by Michael Hibbert. That'll be an interference call. Burnaby thinks that they should have possession right now. They don't think that that was an interference call. Here is Farstad. Scored the latest. Williams collected 2 points in his New Westminster debut last night. He's up top. Feeds behind him to Zook. His hands are free, and a good answer back save from Gill. Rebound falls to the wall. New West able to pick it up and reset the clock. Sasha Zook. Williams going to goal. Now he'll find possession. A good double team, and he's stripped of possession. It'll work its way to the far corner. Kirby can't come up with it. Instead, it'll fall to Sean Morse, and lobs that up to Tyler Gauthier. Fakes the drive on Moog. Takes a peek over to center floor. Waddy just came on. Buron looking for a man in the middle. It's Lucas. Hesitation, scores! What a goal from Oscar Lucas. Somehow found a little bit of space past Maximenko and just tucks that home. There's that calming goal that Burnaby was looking for, and it came from their veteran. The angle from behind the net is going to be a beauty as he just sidesteps the crease. Doesn't even have to go airborne either. A little smirk of Oscar Lucas in that one, huh? Cheeky. He knew what he was doing. Lucas put up 6 points versus Delta. And I keep mentioning that being the first win of the season for Burnaby, and I find important to mention that. There's so much talk about the new culture coming into this building within this team, and you'll actually hear a couple of interviews in this game from head coach Tyler Kirkby as well as newly named captain Jeremy Lund. And just going back to the results from last year, or maybe the lack of culture, as a nice pass over to Lucas off the glove of Maximenko. But last year it took Burnaby until May 29th to find their first win of the year. That came over the Langley Thunder. Battison's shot punched aside. It was a 9-8 victory. They didn't find another win until another month later. It took them pretty well 2 full months. So I guess you could say 3 full months pretty well until they found 2 wins on the year. That was an 8-6 victory over the Poco Saints. They would not win another game all season. So to be able to get that proverbial monkey off your back early in the year in this case, it's got to feel good. But as I mentioned off the top, their focus remains dead set on this game now. It's the what's next type of mentality for this newly found Lakers team. It's a nice set play for Keegan Lady to go to goal. Puts it off of Arjun Gill, who seems to be settling in quite nicely. Here's Alexander again, and a great stop by Gill. Best of the game by far. Went down, but still got his shoulder up in time. New West hemming Burnaby in as they get another rebound, and Keegan Lady sees some fresh legs coming on. One of those being one of the goal scorers, Connolly, who creates space. Alexander now to Williams. His hands are free, and that'll go off the corner boards. Good loose ball collected, though, by Connolly to keep the play alive. 7 seconds to shoot. Williams will set a screen. It'll go over to Kirby in the corner. Working on A.J. Payne. Kirby wants to go to goal, and Payne angled him off well, and Gill will pick it up behind his own goal. Good defensive stand there by the Lakers. Bend but don't break, and they get a massive save from their netminder. Oh, but then they throw it away, and here comes a potential break now for New West. Having to slow it down, however, is Eli Smith, committed to Mercyhurst University. It's Farstad. He wants another. Screens being set in the middle. A hard one by Zook, and the feed sent back towards him, but it just missed. Another one to the middle. Lady had his hands tied up. He takes it behind the goal. Farstad was open in front. The pass just missed him, and that's another good defensive stand from the Lakers. forcing the Bellies into a shot clock violation. Now Burnaby wants to try to take care of this ball a little better than last time around. Daniel Battison will lead the chance. Swings all the way across the floor. White to Alexander Cartwright. Battison, he gets topside, reverses over to Cartwright. Sends it over to the far wall, way out of the reach of Yargo, and an unfortunate Burnaby bounce off of the boards. Got to be careful in the middle now. New West has got to get this over center. They only got a second to do so, and Moog just able to get over that line with half a second to spare. Now Zook sees one defender to beat. Hibbert forced him wide, and a good switch was made by the second entering defender. Now the righties will do some work. Hofer had his man's hands tied up, but still able to get a shot off. And Schnurr would be denied by Gill, and another offensive rebound picked up by New West. Now Kirby. Sidearm feed, Zook spins, but knocked down by Lant. Now Alexander to the goal, stopped by Gill. Lant appears to be a little slow to get up here. He went crashing into the goal. Hopefully he's going to be all right. In the early season for Burnaby, he has been so good. I mean, everybody remembers the injury history of Jeremy Lant. In fact, he'll be one of the interviews that you hear in the second intermission, and he touches a little bit on his journey to recovery, missing all of last year. 6:40 remaining in the first period, 3-2 the visitors lead. Ryan Sheldrake slashed by Biron in a back-checking effort. Sagu will take it the rest of the way over center. He's got to be careful now not to give possession away. Gets it to Daniel Battison, one of the leadership core on this Burnaby team. Urquhart to the goal, fought off by Maximenko, his first stop in a while, and then Hayden Urquhart was next to touch after running through the crease. That'll give possession back to New West. Interesting stat here for you as well. Each of the top 5 picks from the 2024 BC Junior A Lacrosse League entry draft are now on this new Westminster roster, and each and every one of them playing in this game. There's actually another pick that's in this game as well, but it is Alexander Cartwright, and of course he's on the Burnaby Lakers. Michael Hibbert appears to be on the limp. But each of Riley Alexander, who went first, Brendan Marcher, who went second, Brandon Kirby, who went third, and each of those drafted by New Westminster. Ryan Sheldrake at the time was drafted by the Burnaby Lakers. He was actually picked up in a trade with Langley. Lucas going to goal. Another save by Maximenko, but he was acquired by New West in the offseason, and the 5th overall pick to New West that year was Graham Farstad, who scored a goal in this game already. Good bit of GMing there from New Westminster. This is a core that they are very pleased with and want to continue to try to progress. Of course, this season, but remember, next year is the year that the Minto Cup is back hosted in British Columbia. And there's a few teams in this league that are going to want a chance to host and, of course, get into the Minto, most importantly. Have to imagine New West is one of those teams. Here's Gauthier. Daniel Battison, 4.5 on the clock. Can't get around Brandon Kirby. Battison is knocked down. Now White wants to muscle his way through, and he scores! Spencer White saw what was done at the other end of the floor, and he says, "Get off me" himself. 3rd of the year for Spencer White. Watch him just get through everybody. Moog was the high defender trying to stay with him. A slide came just maybe a second too late, and he'll hammer that underneath the Maximenko. Tie game once again. Burnaby battles back from that 3-1 deficit. Oh, another little cheeky animation there. How about the wink from Spencer White? Okay, my first time seeing these folks. Kirby picks up that loose ball. Hofer trying to get underneath on him. A little pushing and shoving behind the play. It's Marcher, and couldn't see the Burnaby player who was drawn with him. It may have been Hofer. Can't have been Hofer. He's still on the floor. Now Williams. He's got plenty of room, and that's knocked away by Gill. Credit to Arjun Gill, man. He looked like he was feeling a little shaky in the early goings, but appears to have settled in here. Hard pass across. Sean Morse will defend. Gets his stick into his counterpart as that'll go off the glass. An unfortunate bounce in the terms of Scotty Williams. He was right there hoping to pick it up, but it bounces in the opposite direction. But remember here, mentioned it off the top, Arjun Gill, I mean, this is his first bit of Junior A action since July of last year. That shot goes off the post. Yargo denied his second. You know, practice is practice, of course. You can get your reps in that way as well as warm-ups, but game action is something completely different. And when you have that much time off, you know, not always the easiest thing to get yourself back into mid-season form. Maximenko, a recent draft pick going back to last year, the Vancouver Warriors. You can see that logo on his gloves that he's wearing here this evening. Alexander. Jeremy Lant back on the floor. Good to see him after he was on the limp last shift. Farstad now into the corner. Connolly absorbs a slash. He'll shoot around a screen, and Gill fights it off again. Luke Harish-Blight over to Lant. Jeremy Lant will leg this the rest of the way. Alexander Cartwright. I believe he was the 7th overall pick in that 2024 draft. Urquhart in and out of Maximenko's stick. He'll pick it up with one hand. Waiting near that restraining line was Ryan Sheldrake. Now Williams to Zook. Williams will clear, fakes the screen, goes back, but the pass doesn't come. Connolly with a nice jab step. He'll send it over to the far wall. Now Schnurr working on Payne. A good switch. Now Williams has it. He'll look underneath of the arm. They scored one in that area earlier in this game. It was the Riley Alexander goal, but this time around Gill gets the last laugh. I guess I should say the latest laugh, considering we're only in the first period. 90 seconds to go. Battiston to the near corner. Buron has it, wants the one-on-one drive. He'll get it to Battiston, and he's out-muscled. Got it over the line, but right away it's waved off despite the spotlights and horn in the arena going off. Moog takes a peek up to the scoreboard here in the Bill Copeland Arena. Farstad also takes a peek up as he wanted to flip that over to Alexander, who was coming back up to set the screen. It's an errant pass, and Gill will fire that up towards center floor. Here's Cartwright. Burnaby looking to reclaim the lead. Urquhart bounces that wide. It goes cleanly out of play, and we'll see how New West wants to play this. If they want the 2-for-1. Being instructed from the bench to go quickly. It's Eli Smith shoots and scores! A worm burner got underneath of Arjun Gill, and now New West is back in front. Maybe caught Gill a little off guard. Goes down to the partial splits, and that's another one just looking for a rebound. Of course, that's what New West is barking from the bench to go, go, go with, I mean, at the time, about 45 seconds. They just want that full 30 to hold for last possession, and they may still get to do so here. And now it's with that 1-goal advantage. They're hoping to make it 2. Kirby able to hold. Maximenko is making his way to the bench for the 6-on-5 possession. Shot clock can pretty well be turned off. There's about half of a second or so separating the two. They'll take a peek up. Clock goes down to 5. Now they're in motion. Williams to the crease. Farstad knocked away by Harish Blight. And then Graham Farstad stepped through the crease as well. It'll be Burnaby possession to the open net, and they can't get it in. Had a real chance as Luke Harish Blight fired that the length of the floor, but put it wide of the goal mouth. And the Burnaby Lakers now will trail by 1. They held that early 1-0 lead off the goal from Kyan Yargo. But after that, New West really started to turn it on. And then, of course, Burnaby able to tie things up and find things back to even until New West got a little bit of a weird one to find themselves back in front. But again, after Arjun Gill was able to settle in, I really think that was the key difference from that first period. He was able to kind of find his footing in his first start since late in the summer last season. And once he did, he looked a lot more comfortable. But with Declan Morrison putting on his uppers halfway through that period, I mean, really early in that period after Gill was allowing those early shots on, you have to wonder how short that leash is going to be for Tyler Kirkby and his staff. And we'll see if we wind up seeing Declan Morrison in this game or not, or if Burnaby is able to tighten things up in the second period and lean on their defenders as we've seen them do in the early goings of this season. Mentioned Tyler Kirkby just a second ago. Also mentioned some interviews that we recorded a couple of weeks back on the Burnaby Lakers Media Day, and we're going to play the interview with the first-year head coach of the Burnaby Lakers, Tyler Kirkby, and you're going to hear a lot about the new culture here, which is something that I've mentioned on past broadcasts as well, and what Tyler is doing, as well as the rest of his Burnaby coaching staff, who are all Burnaby Lakers alumni, are doing to help bring in that new culture. And we'll throw to that right now. Enjoy Tyler Kirkby, the head coach of the Burnaby Lakers.
All right, Brandon, let's start with the Tyler. I'm sorry.
Even he screws up.
Do you want an intro?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Or you can give him the floor to do an intro. One or the other. You choose.
I'll do that with the players. All right, here with the head coach of the Burnaby Lakers Junior A Lacrosse Club, and Tyler Kirkby. Let's start off, considering you are a Burnaby Lakers alumni. Let's go back to the day that you got the news that you were going to be the new head coach. What do you remember about that day?
I remember it being very surprising. I had no idea it was kind of coming, and I knew right away, like as soon as Gord kind of offered me the job, I knew exactly who my assistants were going to be. I phoned them all right away, and they all said yes immediately on the phone. And yeah, it was very surprising, but a very big honor for me to head coach this team.
So all of your assistants that you're talking about here, I'll give you a chance to introduce them here, but every single one of you guys, Burnaby Lakers alumni, before you introduce them, just how good does that feel to have that kind of history coming back to this club?
It's amazing. I think, we were all on kind of different teams growing up. Like I ended up coaching Claridge and Vela and one of the Gabriels, and I played a little bit with Jordan. And I think it's kind of cool that we bring like a bunch of different years to this team, because we've, been a part of a bunch of different Lakers teams. So we bring a lot of different things to the table.
Introduce us to those assistant coaches.
So my first one is Thomas Vela. Plays for the Colorado Mammoth and plays Senior A for the Burnaby Lakers. I coached him since he was kind of a little guy, so I know him quite well, and he's an absolute awesome offensive head coach for us. Just his knowledge of plays and entries and just knowing the players and knowing how to coach offensive players, he's been great. Marcus Claridge, sort of in the same boat as Vela, but he's been awesome as well. Again, he brings a lot of knowledge from the NLL game, from playing for the Burrards, and obviously being a Senior A MVP, it brings a lot of the guys look up to him on the team. Both the Gabriels, so I coached Josh and I played a little bit with Jordan, and again, they have a lot of knowledge of the D end. They're a good players coach, and I knew that they'd be an awesome fit for this team.
There's been so much talk behind the scenes about shaping a new culture here in Burnaby. How do you go about taking on that task?
I think for us, it's just kind of getting the guys to believe again in this organization. I know that coming up, we kind of struggled with that even as players, and with this team, we're trying to grow that belief back. With the talent that we have right now and the changes that our management has made for this team, we all believe that we're going to have a good season this year.
What do you think the identity of this group is going to be?
It's toughness. These guys are fast. They push the ball. They're gritty. They get in the corner. They get the loose balls. They do all the little things that make for a great team.
Considering where the team was last year, I know we're talking about a new culture. How do you set expectations for a new group like this?
I think you got to set the goals kind of as you go along. Like our first goal is obviously to make the playoffs. And then once you do that, we kind of reset our goals and keep kind of climbing from there.
Do you think that there's something about this team that is going to catch some of this league by surprise? And if so, what do you think that'll be?
I think it's the depth. I think this team has so much depth, and a lot of other teams don't understand that everybody on this team has a role, and they're all really, really good at their role.
Good luck this season.
Thank you very much, Dino.
Back inside Bill Copeland Arena, just ahead of face-off for period number 2. And let's give you your first period review, brought to you by Sasuke Ready Mix. In case you did miss any of those opening 20 minutes, it was a good start for Burnaby. A little over a minute and a half in. Actually, I think a minute and 31 seconds in. Kyle Yargo scored the game's opening goal to kick things off on the right foot for the Burnaby Lakers. Then New West started to figure it out a little bit. It was just about 3 minutes later, a little over, when Riley Alexander scored a bit of a weird goal on Arjun Gill, looking for a rebound, but found the 7-hole. But this wound up, or these next two kind of wound up being the difference for a little while. New West scoring back-to-back goals under 20 seconds apart. Evan Connolly and Graham Farstad teaming up for those two. And it looked like that was going to be the end of Argent Gill's night. But he was able to settle in. He found his footing, and he battled back, as did his Lakers, who then scored the next two themselves. Oscar Lucas with a pretty one, and Spencer White with the ultimate power move getting to goal until a late goal with 36 seconds to go. Eli Smith gave New West the lead, which is where we find ourselves now. Boris Maximenko stopped 12 of 15 first period shots. Argent Gill stopped 13 of 17, each of them back in their respective creases. The two teams are back on their respective benches, and looks like everybody is set and ready to go for period number 2. Could also get the referees in this game, Jordan Wendt and Josh Brugard. As Hobson on the draw one, he goes to goal and gets one off, but Maximenko makes his first save of this period. What a start that would have been for the Lakers. Here's Battiston to the corner. Nice jab step. Cartwright can't get it under the stick. Another power move going to goal. And here comes the fast break of the Bellies, fought off by Gill. Really punches out with those shoulders when he's making a stop in the high portion of the goal. Spencer White with one in the first. An unintentional bounce pass. That fools Biron. And now White is going to have to go back and defend, looking to make up for his mistake. Here's Cole Kennett. He gets off for a change. Now Brady Schnurr. Hard pass across over to Williams. Return now to Schnurr. Halfway through the shot clock. Biron also defending as that pass low was picked off by Spencer White. Maybe numbers. Oh, he tried to force the pass through. Biron goes behind the goal. It was in his stick for a moment. Maximenko will fire that back up. Jackson Weatherby. He wants to slow things down a little bit. Sees some fresh legs off the bench. It's Williams. Pass low for Connolly. A good handle on it. One-on-one drive around Hibbard and looking 5-hole, but Gill able to shut the door. He may have been guessing a little bit, but still makes the save. Now Sagu on a fast break. Oh, and a great defensive stick. Eli Smith scored that go-ahead goal in the dying seconds of the first period and then made a great defensive play to knock that out of midair. Sagu continues to battle for it. He's got some help in Oscar Lucas there in the corner, and Maximenko has seen enough. He'll come out of his crease and make a play on it. Should also say a happy birthday to Boris Maximenko, celebrating his 19th year on Earth today. Happy birthday, Boris. Birthday Boris, we can call him. I'm sure I'm the first person who has ever called him that. Connolly's shot bounces early and out of play. Burnaby will take it back. Wyatt Hofer out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's a collision right in front of the Burnaby bench. That's going to result in a Lakers power play, barring the goal with the empty net because Gill just got to the bench. 6-on-5 right now. Shot clock goes down to 10. They wait for 8. Now they start to move. Battiston over to Lucas. Back across. Cartwright with a nice move. He'll shoot around a screen, but couldn't direct it on goal. So it will indeed be a Lakers power play, and actually the first power play in general that we'll have seen all evening. It's going to be a 2-minute minor for roughing, and it'll go to Tag Moog. Always likes to play on the edge. Feels like that could be said for both Tag and Nash Moog, who of course plays for the Maple Ridge Burrards in the WLA. Both of them former Poco Saints at the Junior A level, but it will now be a Shotcrete Shore power play. The Lakers come into this firing at 25% on the man advantage. New Westminster, though, killing off 82%. of their penalties. Now they get their motion. Here's Yargo as the screens were set in a bit of a scissor motion going up. That'll be back over. The shot missed the net cleanly, and New West will have to start in the corner. They'll leak their offense on and work the free clear. First man in is Keegan Lady. Lady looks up. He sees Brady Schnurr. Schnurr returned to Lady, and he'll take a jog over towards the restraining line as the off-ball motion gets going too, and A.J. Payne with a good slash onto the stick of Scotty Williams. He was acquired alongside a 2028 fourth-round pick in exchange for Gage Viger, a first-round pick in 2027, and a second-round pick in 2028, as well as future considerations. Pretty good return for Delta, as Urquhart wound up wrapping around the goal, and a defender came in to put a stick behind Maximenko just in case. That was Cole Kennett. Maximenko able to squeeze that underneath, however, and the penalty time winds down to 50 seconds. The ball will work to the corner. A good jab step from Alexander. Lady is back onto the hardwood. He's sidestepping away from Michael Hibbert. Now Hofer is knocked off his path. Lady rips that wide of the goal, and it goes straight into the New Westminster bench. The only two teams in the league that play on hardwood floor. It's Lucas now with 25 seconds on the power play. To the corner, White goes behind the goal. Yargo will step into a shot. Swallowed by Maximenko. The rebound falls towards the middle of the floor, though, and Spencer White did a good job of staying after it. Kept his feet moving as well to get away from Luke Sonnen. Coming off of his junior season at Simon Fraser University is Sonnen. The penalty is over. Burnaby 0 for 1 on that man advantage. Lucas still on. So he'll switch with Yargo, who will skip over to Urquhart. He'll fire a sidearm, looking 5-hole, but Maximenko kept his stick down and found the rebound. That pass found the middle of the floor where Sonnen was waiting, and Miles Gifford does the rest of the work. Brady Schnurr, 17 on the shot clock, hoping for that cutter far side. Now it's in the stick of Zook. Williams, nice pass to Lady, and Gill got a piece, but also may have hit crossbar. The ball just appeared to be floating there in the middle for about a second or so. New West able to collect that rebound and the fresh 30 to boot. Zook with a hard pass across. Again through the middle. Farstad is robbed by Gill. Hobson up the floor, trying to reward his goaltender. Sees his offense starting to make their way on. He'll feed Oscar Lucas, which is never the wrong decision to make. Arjun Gill with maybe the best save we've seen all game. We may need another look at that when we get a chance. Now Lucas with a nice drive and score. Tie game once again. Oscar Lucas has his second. The defender low just took their eye off of Lucas for that split second. It was Jackson Weatherby. He's the defender in front of the crease. He is that low help. After Lucas is able to blow past the high defender, he sees the lower in Jackson Weatherby just looking the wrong way, and that opens up that lane to the goal. Oscar Lucas has tied this game up. So I believe they just put the goal on the wrong side of the board. Yeah, now they're fixing it. It was 5-3 for a second. Now it's corrected. Should say as well, that is not on the trick shot, folks, ladies and gentlemen. That's the scoreboard in the arena. You know, covering their bases. Hard pass now over to Schnurr. He sees no help underneath. He's going to go to goal, and he's going to score. The exact same play that we just saw Oscar Lucas score on. Brady Schnurr sees no defender underneath, and he goes right to the rack. Look at how open that lane is, and that's exactly why Luke Harish-Blight is playing that defensively as he is. He's angling his man downwards into where there is supposed to be a low defender. But the forward who is on the crease is able to vacate, go through the middle, and the defender just follows him. A defensive breakdown, and in the blink of an eye, New West is able to reclaim the lead. They want another one. Lady! And that goes wide of the goal. It's high into the air, bounces all the way back towards center. It's a loose ball battle, and it falls the way of Burnaby. And, they're going to give it back to New West as Mo got knocked down by Hobson. It'll be an interference call, and Burnaby's going to have to stay and defend now. An errant pass. New West just gives it right back. Eli Smith tried to send it towards the open gate where he thought someone was about to step on the floor. A mental miscue, and Burnaby with a chance to tie this game. A flurry of goals there, spread out by less than a minute on the exact same play. Cartwright to Battiston, bobbled it, but found it again. He'll step into a perimeter shot. That's off a stick and wide. Bounces now to the half wall. 7 seconds on the shot clock. If Burnaby can keep possession, they can't. And here goes Smith, trying to make up for his mistake. And a great pickoff with one hand by Daniel Battiston. What a defensive play. Now a chance the other end. Sean Morse is knocked down by Cole Kennett. The defensive units have come to play here, and Burnaby just got caught with too many men on the floor. An illegal substitution call. Oh boy, and now Jeremy Lant is coming out onto the floor for this penalty kill, but he again is limping his way into the defensive zone. That is not a good sign for Burnaby. Good that he's able to fight through it, but you just hope that that's not something he's making worse right now. He is the interview you will hear in the second intermission from the Lakers media day. He talks about how much of a battle it was for him to get back from his injury that he suffered in 2024. He had mentioned that his last game of lacrosse prior to their first game of this season was back in those 2024 playoffs in an elimination playoff game against the Coquitlam Adanacs. Yeah, and Lant just limped his way back to the bench. He's not going to stay out for this penalty kill. Try to provide any updates if possible. But right now he's staying on the bench while his team looks to kill this penalty off, and that's caught out of midair by Hofer. He's off to the races. A shorthanded breakaway for Wyatt. Hofer kicked aside by Maximenko. How many times this season already have we talked about the speed of Wyatt Hofer? And clearly not out of gas as he's able to get back in time for the remainder of this penalty kill. It's halfway through. Schnurr. Now Connolly, far side. Gill hangs on and he falls backwards to make sure that doesn't trickle behind him. A big save for him. And Hofer still on the floor. 45 seconds remaining in the illegal substitution penalty being served by Michael Hibbert. Hibbert to Cartwright. Now Hofer will go to change. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Spencer White has made his way on. We'll see if they can find the rebound off of a shot here. White sees a man open. It's Lucas, and he tries to shoot around a screen. It bounced into the face mask of Maximenko. How's that for a birthday gift? I'm sure Boris Maximenko would be a lot happier with a win as a birthday gift here away from home. Here's Lady. Shot may have gone off a stick. No, the officials say cleanly wide and out of play, which means Burnaby will kill off these final 2 seconds. It was a Del Bianco contracting penalty kill. And Hibbert sprints across the floor. We're back to 5-on-5. Lucas. Screen comes from White. Lucas had a little bit of room for a second. White with a good strip and earns Burnaby possession once again. They got the reset. Looked like New West was going to go the other way. Battiston steps into an outside rip that goes wide. It'll ricochet to the corner. Lucas able to pick that up underneath the defender, now behind the goal. Against his former teammate from last year, Cole Kennett. Another hard outside shot, this time from Biron, and that's knocked away by the stick of Maximenko. Maybe numbers here for New West. It's a 2-on-1 with White defending, and that goes wide of the goal. Oh, and a hard hit into the boards. That's going to be a penalty as the ball went the other way. Oh, and New West may have just gotten one as well. It is Bryce Manson-Gordon. You're going to see the contact maybe. Yeah, the hit afterwards. Hard into the boards. That was called immediately, and then I believe it's tag Moog. And Moog's got to be careful not to take another one. He appears to be none too pleased with the referees who gave him a penalty while the Burnaby defender, Manson-Gordon, was already walking to the box. That takes his team off of the power play, and he almost got another one as he continued to bark from the penalty box. We'll see what the penalty situation here is going to be. But I would call this momentum Burnaby, if anything here. For about 3 seconds, they thought that they were going to be killing off another penalty. Instead, they wind up 4-on-4. A 5-minute major is on the board to Bryce Manson-Gordon. They've given 2 to tag Moog. Have to imagine that's for unsportsmanlike conduct with whatever it was that was mentioned to the referees. So they'll take a seat in the New Line hose and fittings penalty boxes while play continues on. So this will eventually be a New West power play after the unsportsmanlike New West penalty is complete. But it won't quite be the full 5 minutes that they would have hoped for originally. Here's Schnurr. Watched on by Sean Morse. Still no sign of Jeremy Lant. Alexander shot through. Oh, and the rebound was in the air for Zook, but he couldn't bat it home. Looking over at the bench, Jeremy Lant is still standing. And we'll see if he finds himself back onto the floor or not. Cartwright to Yargo opened the scoring way back in the early goings of the first. Now Waddy, he'll try to swim, can't quite get through, but still got a shot on goal. He was forced off of the path that he was hoping for. Good defending there by Cam Downey. Williams takes a peek around. There's 35 seconds remaining in the penalty to Moog. Connolly to the middle to a wide open. Williams scores! Oh, a beauty from Scotty Williams. His second goal as a member of the Salmonbellies. Got his first last night. But this one, chef's kiss. He's got the size disadvantage on Gill, who also went airborne, just trying to get a piece of that floater. But Williams, who matched the leaping height of Arjun Gill with a bit of a jump himself, and still found a way to pot that one home. It's a 2-goal lead for the visitors for the second time in this game. Remember, they were up 3-1 at one point in the first period. The one goal that Williams was able to score last night came on the power play. This one comes at 4-on-4. Moog is out of the box. So it's a 3-minute power play for New West, and an early shot there from Connolly that Gill will fight off. 7 minutes to go in this middle period. Alexander Cartwright is back on. He'll flip to White. Likes that matchup for a moment. Oh, what a move by White to the goal, and a great stop by Maximenko. New West had a man all the way up the floor. It was Brandon Kirby. They didn't see him. Eli Smith was the easier play. Now Kirby does have it. Keegan Lady running point. Schnurr over to Williams, gets around or tried to get around Gauthier, and again tries to go airborne, but the ball fell out of his stick. AJ Payne now is triple teamed. Couldn't keep his feet in the crease, which meant he had to just try to go forward with it. Didn't quite work out, and Payne gives a couple of whacks to Scotty Williams as they go back into their respective formations. Penalty clock winds down to 1:40. Dunk off the post. Williams almost added a second. Now Schnurr has it. Lady, an outside shot. Oh, they got through Gill, who sprawls back onto the rebound, and it trickles behind the goal. He felt that fall under his arm. In desperation, he follows that up with a leap of his own. Now Hofer with some more speed, looking 5-hole. Maximenko squeezes that. I know the Bellies management and staff very pleased with Boris Maximenko and the amount of shots that he was able to get from NLLers on the practice squad with the Warriors this past NLL season. So he watches on from the opposite end, watching Arjun Gill mirror his efforts from a moment ago with a stick save of his own. This would be a big kill for Burnaby. Again, it wasn't the entirety of the 5-minute major, but still 3 minutes that they have to try to kill off, and just 34 seconds left to make that work. Everybody taking a peek up at the clock. There's 15 on the shot clock. Just a little more than that in the penalty time. Hibbert angles his man off the ball. Hard hit into the boards. It was Graham Farstad getting the worst of that. And that's batted towards the crease of Gill. He'll pick it up and fire up to Gauthier. And the penalty is over. Tyler Kirkby likes what he sees. Gives his bench a quick round of applause. Burnaby will be happy to get back to 5-on-5, trailing in shots 25-30. Lucas on hat-trick watch. He'll step back, swing over to Urquhart, and got it underneath. And a one-timer that just missed. That Urquhart opportunity got underneath of Maximenko, but clearly the netminder got just a piece of it, enough to have that go wide of the goal. A close call, and Burnaby continues to trail by 2. Hofer got a stick in the lane. That deflected that centering pass. And Sean Morse is knocked down by Zook, or excuse me, that's Ben Hobson. Hofer gets that into the zone. He'll leave for Kyan Yargo. Yargo had a man open for just a minute. It was Tommaso Biron. Yargo swings that hard over to Cartwright. Cartwright spins, forced to the outside. Yargo is way downtown, decides now to Spencer White. He'll fake the shot, he'll tuck, now he'll take it off the right pad. Collision in the middle, Burnaby has it! No goal, they're gonna wave it off. Second goal in this game that has been disallowed. Both of them would have gone to the Lakers. The Burnaby bench do not like it. But another hard crease crash would be waved off by the officials. Lead remains 6-4 New West. Lady, shot took a deflection. Oh, it goes in. That is about as unfortunate of a bounce as you could ask for. Pair that up with the fact that Burnaby scored a goal at the other end that the officials waved off. Yeah, the defender in front, Gauthier. Gill's in good position. The question was, what was the response from the Lakers going to be in the first period after a quick run from New West? And the answer was Burnaby tying that game. Of course, they wound up giving up that lead in the final minute, but the Lakers had a good answer back. Now they need one again. This is the most that they've trailed by, but it is still just 3. It's now breaking through that mindset of having a goal disallowed and then having one go against you just moments later. The goal will be credited to Keegan Lady. It'll be his first of the game and 7th of the season. Remember, New West is doing this tonight without Ren Glanville, who has 15 points so far on the year to lead his team. Also doing it without Lincoln Twomley, who maybe not as busy of a start to the season for him in the sense, I mean, still 5 points in their 3 games thus far, but just in comparison to the numbers of Ren Glanville. Regardless, Lincoln Twomley is a guy that gets a ton of touches, offensively speaking, in a game. And now Burnaby want to go with numbers. Here's Cartwright on a breakaway, denied by Maximenko. Meanwhile, a wrestling match behind the play. Michael Hibbert gets up without a glove or a stick. A big stop for Boris Maximenko. Burnaby bench not happy with the referees right now. Schnurr gets the switch, passes over. There's a broken stick. It's that of Connolly. Lost his glove as well. Now Alexander denied by Gill. Rebound is behind the net, and Hobson will pick it up. He'll sprint into the final 2 minutes of this second period. Yargo looks up and sees Cole Kennett, a veteran presence on this New West defense. Battiston, everybody getting a touch right now for Burnaby on this lefty strong set. Yargo has it, 4 to shoot. Hard pass over to Battiston, who wasn't expecting it, and Burnaby give possession away. 1:20 now on the clock. Not quite enough time, or limited time enough, rather, for that 2-for-1 set. New West give it back to Burnaby. Depending on how they play this, they may be able to make something happen, but there's still just over a minute remaining on this clock. Have to be real strategic if they want to get one of those on this. It's White. Got through. He's in the middle. He shoots back across Maximenko's body. It goes wide. Lucas picks up the rebound. 7 to shoot. Can't get it through the lane. Cartwright will scores! He got laid out, but it's a bruise that's going to feel a lot better with the goal. The lead is cut down to 2 with 45 seconds to play. Watch the contact from Cartwright. He took the double team type of slide. Knocked down for his efforts, but as they say, you take a hit to make a play. And even if the score ends the way that it is right now heading into the intermission, the Lakers can feel a lot better having that little bit of momentum back in their favor heading into the break. A late goal, regardless of the score, at times can be a real backbreaker for a team that's in front. Still a lot of this game to be decided, of course, but that's an important goal for Burnaby. And now let's see what else they can cook together, if they can put some more, because Lady off the face-off win goes right to goal. Govin Sangu looking for the rebound, couldn't find it. Now Gill comes out of his crease to try to make the play. It was picked up by Farstad for a moment until Ben Hobson took it away. Now Burnaby has possession. 25 seconds left. Cartwright thinking about going to goal. He's angled to the corner. Shot clock can pretty well be turned off, if at all. There's half a second separating that and the remaining time in the period. Arjun Gill staying in goal. It's 5-on-5 continuing. Cartwright, the latest goal scorer. Clock goes down to 6. Lucas, jab step, he'll shoot, looking 5-hole. Rebound ricochets towards the middle, and Burnaby's going to run out of time. A good push at the end for the Lakers, and a bit of resiliency as we've seen from them as well. They're going to like their pushback, but they can't be content with it and settle with just that. That pushback now has to continue into this third and final frame of regulation as they continue to try to get back to where this game can be even. They've had good third period pushes throughout different points of the season so far, very early season, I should say, as well. But now we're going to see what that culture has really created here in Burnaby. How much of a pushback will they have in this third period? In the past, going back to as recent as last year, I mean, this game might as well just be over by now, or at the very least, if they're in this position, not that much of a pushback heading into the third period. But again, it's a brand new coaching staff, brand new management, new ownership, and they're building from the ground up, and that positivity leaks all the way throughout this room. And speaking of leaders on this team, we're now going to throw to an interview that we had with the newly found captain of this Lakers team in Jeremy Lant, and playing in clearly a limited role. He's clearly not 100% in this game. I think by my count, probably only had 2 or 3 shifts, and after that very brief penalty killing shift for him, wound up limping off to the bench where he stayed. He didn't go down the tunnel. He stayed there for the remainder of the period, and we'll see if he returns or not for the third. But I had a chance to have a conversation with him on the Lakers media day. He talked a lot about his road to recovery as well as the new culture here in Burnaby. Enjoyed this conversation with Jeremy Lant.
All right, give us your name, number, and your position.
My name is Jeremy Lant, number 6, and I play defense.
Okay, you're in a pretty unique position here, as you were just telling us off air. It's been quite a long time since you last played a lacrosse game. What has this journey back to the floor been like for you?
Yeah, it's been tough, but I mean, I'm just so excited to get back. It's been 2 years now. I'm a 5th year, and yeah, time's like really flown by. Last year, didn't have the opportunity to play, and kind of left on a sour note my 3rd year against Copeland. Yeah, we're just excited to be back. Yeah.
What style of player would you say that you are?
I like to think I can do it all. I think I'm a good shut down D guy, but I also have the skill to push the floor. Whatever the team needs me to do, I'll do. Yeah.
Burnaby is a team with so much history. You are now the guy donning the C this year. You're the captain for the team. How much does that mean to you personally to be the captain of such a historic franchise?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty special. I mean, I grew up watching these games, and it's been a dream just to even play on the team. And obviously, 8 Minto Cups, trying to bring it home. But we just want to build a good leadership group and something that we can build on next year and after all of our 5th years are gone.
Considering this is such a historic franchise and the culture that's being built here, you're somebody that's been with this group for, I mean, pretty well your entire junior career. You've kind of been here for the ups and the downs. What can you say about the new culture that's being built here now?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think what the Cast brothers have brought in, it's been unreal, honestly. Just like time and effort they put into us, getting us gloves, just all the floor time, everything they've done so far is building to a good season and building for the future as well.
What do you think the identity of the team is going to be this year?
Just play fast, hard every game. I think we have a good roster. I think teams that are going to, I guess, underrate us in a sense. And I think we play fast. I think we can be one of the best teams in the league this year. Yeah.
A lot of guys go into an off season having something specific that they want to work on going into the next year. You're in a pretty unique position in that you've been off for some time, as we already talked about. How do you approach going into a new year like this, considering, you know, you've been off for as much time as you have? Like, how do you try to improve on your game after all this time off?
Yeah, I guess trying to find a balance, just getting back healthy, to be honest. I've been kind of going through rehab for the past almost year now. But yeah, just getting healthy, doing what I can, hitting the wall. Just starting running outside of practice and everything. Just get in shape as much as possible for the year.
What would you say the team goals for this year are?
make it as far as we can. We got kicked in the teeth last year, and it was pretty embarrassing to watch. But honestly, like the new ownership, new leadership of the team, Coach Kirkby coming back, all the junior alumni, Claire, Chavella, Gabes. I think there's like new energy, and we just want to push this thing as far as we can.
What is that like for you to be coached by so many guys that have donned this jersey before, but also have so much professional experience as well?
It's awesome. I mean, Kirkby coached me my first year under Russ Hurd. But yeah, it's cool to like hear about the stories about what it's like playing pro. Like it's a dream of mine, and I'm sure a lot of guys on the team. So it's obviously cool seeing them play in person, and then also like their junior alumni, so they kind of know what's going on here. And I think it's a great way that they've given back, and hopefully I can do the same in the future. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Swamp for the start of period number 3 as both teams made their way back on to the floor. And in case you've missed any of the opening 40 minutes of this one, let's get you your Extreme Threads review. Because at the end of the first period, it was a 4-3 lead for the Bellies. A real, back-breaking goal is not the right word to use, but just like a heartbreaking goal scored by Eli Smith from the Burnaby Lakers' perspective. as Eli Smith gave New West the 1-goal lead with 36 seconds on the clock. Burnaby, much like the first period, to start off the second period, Oscar Lucas opened the scoring, tying the game up at 4. Things are feeling good. But again, much like the first period, in this middle frame, it was 3 straight goals for New Westminster. Brady Schnurr, Scotty Williams, and Keegan Lady able to put home 3 and give the Bellies their largest lead of the game. It was at 3 until Burnaby got one back in the final minute themselves. Alexander Cartwright got laid out but was able to find the 5-hole of Boris Maximenko to cut the lead down to 2. And Burnaby will look to carry that late momentum into this final period and mount this comeback. Arjun Gill remains in goal for the Lakers. He stopped 25 of 32. Boris Maximenko has been outstanding here this evening. An .844 save percentage through 40 minutes, stopping 27 of 32 shots himself. One final discussion going down at the New Westminster bench, but everything appears to be sorted out. And let's sort out together if the Lakers can indeed mount that comeback. They're coming off their first win of the year. It came against the Delta Islanders on Saturday. And they want to make it back-to-back wins for the first time since the 2024 season. Brandon Kirby crunching the boards, keeps that cradle going. Now the ball is knocked free. It's through the middle, and it'll be picked up by Gauthier. A little more pushing and shoving behind the play while the ball finds its way over center floor. Burnaby has opened the scoring of each of the previous 2 first periods. We'll see if that is a theme that continues here in the third. Through the middle, Yargo is denied, and looks like he took a hit up high. He thinks there should have been a penalty, but the officials disagree. Ryan Sheldrake spent last year with the Langley Thunder, acquired in the offseason, coming off of his freshman year at Simon Fraser University. Riley Alexander, that's a great stick check by Morse, but Alexander able to hang on to possession, and Williams just missed. A close call for New West to reclaim the 3-goal lead, and Gill has that fall underneath of him. Looks like he just caught enough of it. Remains a 2-goal game. Biron. Now Waddy. Aiden Waddy over to Cartwright. Swing now over to White. He outmuscled his man on his last goal. Tries again. A sneaky shot that goes into Maximenko's stick. Miles Gifford collects that at center. Eli Smith hits the trailer. Graham Farstad now into the corner. This is Sasha Zook. Trailer on is Riley Alexander. Zook has it, flips through to Farstad. His stick was tied up by Hofer. Hofer's had a good game on the defensive side. Now Alexander can't get the shot off, and guess who knocked it away? It was Wyatt Hofer. He is one of those meat and potatoes types of players. Lunch pail kind of guys, just likes to go to work and do those gritty things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Now Yargo couldn't quite avoid the crease. He had a man on his back, but still a quality chance at a scoring opportunity. Now Lady scored a weird one in that second period that deflected off of the stick of Tyler Gauthier. But they all count the same. Now Bryce Manson-Gordon, a hard hit into the Burnaby bench. Can't hang on to the ball. Thankfully, he's not winded. Possession, New Westminster. Drive to the goal for Lady. A lane that was far too easy to come by. Shot it over the goal, however. A little sloppy right now from New West. Still with possession, though. Connolly backing into a double team. Takes space to the outside. Here's Kirby. Swing now to the near for Williams. Takes a cross check, and a great glove save by Arjun Gill. What a stop. Went down early and got the glove up in time. That's another one we have to, or may have to see a replay of at some point here. That was an outstanding save for Arjun Gill. Burnaby trying to get within one, scores! Off the Gill save. It's a goal at the other end, courtesy of Spencer White, his second of the game, and the Lakers are within one. I don't think Arjun Gill is going to get an assist, but this is the play that he pretty well should have one on. Look at that glove save from Gill. Turns into this for White. Gets underneath of his man, goes to the crease, and fires it under the glove of Maximenko. Just a massive sequence for Burnaby, and they have cut this lead in half. Still no sign on the floor of Jeremy Lant, but he remains on the bench. Moral support right now by the looks of things, trying to provide some more of that leadership. Here comes New West. Sheldrake was used mostly as a forward with Langley last year. He's out the defensive gate now with New West. He gets off to bring on Connolly. Has a fresh set of legs. Schnurr will switch hands, become a lefty. Now back to his right. One more switch. Riley Alexander, a natural lefty, and it's another goal for New West. Brandon Kirby quiets this building. Alexander will get another helper, and Kirby just steps in with the defender a little late to get out on hands. Just over 4 minutes through this third period. It was another frame which saw Burnaby score the first goal of it. But New West, just like we've seen in each of the previous two periods, answers back with one of their own. Burnaby now has to avoid letting this turn into some sort of a run. That's been the script for periods 1 and 2. A 3-goal run in each of those periods. And Burnaby wants to flip that script, so to speak. Farstad has played a factor in a couple of those runs. Here's Zook with room. A low save by Gill, but the rebound will be collected, courtesy of Scott Williams. Williams with it again. Shots dead even at 36 aside. Here's Schnurr on the screen by Kirby. Good slide by Sagu. Kirby has it again. Shot, a little bit of blind shooting, you could say, from Brandon Kirby. Looking one way and then shooting, hoping to catch the goaltender off guard. Battiston back up the way. Waddy sprints away from that pressure. White, a fake. He'll spin back again, trying to muscle his way through. Lucas is open. Lucas shoots, and a nice save by Maximenko. Ball is down, and it's through the middle, but collected in stride. As Cam Downey will leg this over center. Alexander flips down to Zook. Manson Gordon got a good whack in on him. Now Connolly watched on by Hobson. Switch is made, and that shot's off the post. Bounces down the floor. Oh, and Tommaso Biron, had he had maybe a little bit more gas in his tank, he maybe would have had a chance to chase that ball down. But the spin definitely favored New Westminster, who get possession back. Now Lady in front. Here's Williams. Another shoulder save by Gill. Considering maybe the shaky start from Gill back in the first period, another nice save by Gill. He has made some beauties in this period. And we're early on, just about 7 minutes through. As Zook wrestles his man down, it's going to be an interference call on that play. Possession to the Lakers. Hofer wants it. He's all the way up, but they decide to pass over to Biron instead, and it was not a good one. New West maybe going to take it back. Oh, a friendly Burnaby bounce, and Biron will scoop that up. gripped the shoe of Eli Smith. Otherwise, New West was going to be off to the races. Battiston. Now Urquhart back to Battiston. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Have to get something on goal. Lucas drives. He shoots, and a low stop by Maximenko, and he'll fall on top of that rebound. 8-6. New Westminster leads. Trying to avoid back-to-back losses for the first time this season. Burnaby looking for back-to-back wins for the first time since the 2024 season. Gill takes that up high into the collarbone area. The back in is avoided, but New West take possession, and Gill with another outstanding save. Morse just avoids the back over call. Alexander Cartwright comes in to collect. Doesn't like the drive. Urquhart came in to help. Now White over to Yargo. Kyan Yargo. He can really shoot that ball just like he does now. White on the rebound, and another great save by Maximenko. White looking to draw the interference call. He will. Possession Burnaby. And maybe some tired defenders on the floor for New West. They were able to get one set of fresh legs. It was Ryan Sheldrake coming off the bench. Otherwise, the remaining 4 defenders were on from that last possession. Tough bounce pass over to Lucas. He handled it well. Here's Cartwright. Pass back to him. It was deflected. Lucas looking to pick this up, and he finds it. On his own side of center, New West never had possession, so the clock is at 5 seconds. Lucas to the goal on a twister wide, and he's hammered into the goal. No penalty on the play, but the official blows it down. Burnaby felt that they should be on the power play right now. But a good drive by the 5th-year forward, Oscar Lucas. Coming off of his 6-point performance versus Delta, and it'll be another one for New West. Sasha Zook picks the corner, and the lead is back up to 3. Yeah, again, it was similar to the last New West goal, but on the opposite side. You can see the defender coming out to meet the shooter, but a step or two too late. And credit where credit is due. I didn't see the number of the forward in front, but creating that screen for Zook. Otherwise, the defender is out on hands there. And now the hill just got a little bit steeper for Burnaby to try to climb their way up. Sagu wrestled down. Waddy has it. Sagu has to get off to get some fresh legs on for Burnaby. The forward group doing a little bit of work here. Here's Lucas over to Battiston. Hard jab step with that left foot. Battiston flips to the middle. Great handle by Waddy, and he's robbed by Boris Maximenko. Here's Riley Alexander working on a 4-point game. Zook knocks that away from the reaching glove of Gill. Farstad over top on Hofer, who battles back and strips his man of possession. Hofer knocks it ahead. What a great defensive stand that was from Wyatt Hofer. Like a dog on a bone. Urquhart drives off the Hofer feed. Hard to the bench for him to get Lucas on. They got 14 on the shot clock. Here's White. Fakes the pass through. Swings now to Urquhart. He gets topside. Steps around, but an interference is going to go. Oh, and Urquhart is knocked down over a fallen defender. He did shoot a second or so after the whistle, but we'll see. Miles Gifford is being ushered towards the penalty box, and this might be a Burnaby power play. Boris Maximenko is pleading New West case. We'll get another look at it here. The whistle went right there, and then Gifford came over and shoved Caden Urquhart. Looking down at my roster for a second. Mental hiccup. We're back. But all of that resulting now in a Burnaby Lakers shotcrete power play, just their second of the game. And this feels like must-score territory. There's 9.5 minutes to go. A power play goal would completely change the feel of things right now. 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Lucas through the middle. Battison left the ball behind. Urquhart, who drew the penalty. We'll do a quick lap around the outside. Lucas steps into one and scores! A massive one for the Burnaby Lakers, and that's a hat trick goal for Oscar Lucas. Lean on your leaders when you need them, and that is one of the many reasons why Oscar Lucas is donning an A on his sweater this year. Another one that goes under the glove of Maximenko. There's the cheeky smirk. You know, it's like a passport photo. They tell you you're not allowed to smile, but you see what you can get away with. Oscar Lucas, obviously a professional at that. See, he cuts this lead back down to 2, and Oscar Lucas now working on a 4-point game, 3 of those being goals, coming off of his 6-point performance against the Delta Islanders. Swing pass across hard. Gill got the elbow up in time, and Sagu will pick up possession. Oh, and Michael Hibbert just slashed down at the ankles of Scott Williams, and this is going to be a New West power play. Just a penalty that you cannot take, especially after you just scored one on the man advantage to cut the lead down to 2. And now they're going to have to lead on their short man unit. It's a Del Bianco contracting penalty kill. Caden Urquhart getting an assist on the Lucas hat trick goal. Williams moving pretty well, which is a good sign to see after he took that slash down low. Schnurr will drag. Lady to Williams. He shoots, and that's off of Hofer and wide. A big block from him. Back up top. Lady, and a nice save by Gill. Rebound falls over to the opposite wall, and A.J. Payne can't come up with it. He'll retreat back low to the crease. Fresh 30 for the power play, which has 1:20 remaining on it. Williams up top. Lady running quarterback here. Everybody getting a touch. Williams, his Lady drags, shoots, and is that off of A.J. Payne? I believe so. Gill took a swing for that loose ball. He'll take a stab at it as well. Nobi able to come up with it, and Farstad is robbed by the glove of Gill. Connolly threatening the drive. Jeremy Lant back on the floor, and he is immediately back on the limp. It appears to be that left ankle coming out to kill this penalty. I believe this is his first shift since that penalty killing shift in the first period, and he is limping his way back to the bench. Oh, man, I think they just got to shut down Jeremy Lant right now, doing everything he can to be a heart and soul player for this team. Of course, the leader. But you just don't want him to make it worse. Cartwright looking to sneak that between the wickets. That doesn't go. Maximenko with a quick pass through the middle. Just 10 seconds remaining on the penalty to Hibbert. 6:40 remaining in regulation with Burnaby trailing by 2. Here's Lady. Hibbert back onto the floor. That's a big penalty kill, but New West still looking for a chance, and that'll go off the left pad of Gill on the Farstad shot. Lady. Schnurr. Ready for the drive. A hard pick by Connolly set on Hofer. That'll be an interference call, and Burnaby can take possession. 6 minutes to try to tie this game. Tommaso Biron. Trailer is Cartwright. Here's Lucas. 3 goals in this game already. Shot took a deflection. Ricochets back to Biron. 10 on the shot clock. Still time to work with for Burnaby. That clock goes down to 5. Urquhart flipped through. Oh, Cartwright was there, but a great stick knocked that away. It was Cam Downey who's made a couple of big defensive plays for the Bellies in this game, and none bigger than that one. Sonnen to Zook. Williams. So he'll go back across to Zook and return to his rightful side of the floor. Alexander with space cleared. That shot didn't get through. Bounces back towards the restraining line. Alexander picks it up near center. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Shot off the elbow of Gill. Big rebound. Williams picks it up. Took a bit of contact as well. Spins or tries to spin through a double team. Lost the handle, but Lady was right there to save the day. 5 minutes left in regulation. Zook over to the far corner where Kirby was waiting. Kirby over to Williams. Skip through the middle. Gill takes it into his stick. He is making the saves when they need him to right now. And you have to imagine he's pretty well got to stop everything he sees from this point forward. It's Waddy with the screen set. Swing across. Here's Yargo. He'll fake and take. Big rebound off the Maximenko save. Ball is loose. It'll trickle past Moog. Runs a bit of interference, and it'll be picked up by the next defender in line, Jackson Weatherby. Now Smith gets around Morse. 4:20 left in regulation. Farstad. Morse doing a good job on him. It's Connolly to the corner. Trailer is Lady. One more pass. This is Schnurr. On the screen set, his hands are free. Can't find a lane. Took a deflection. Hofer couldn't come up with it, but Zook was next to touch after stepping through the crease. Possession, Burnaby. The Lakers have not won a game on home floor just yet. Maybe it'll come tonight. Lucas will tuck. He lost possession. It just flew out of his stick as he tried to drive around his man. Pass ahead. It's a breakaway chance now. Gill with a big stick save. And A.J. Payne with an even bigger loose ball. Cartwright has it. Waits to see who's going to join him on this offensive shift. There's a loose glove down on the floor. It's from somebody on New Westminster. Can't quite see who it is, and we'll see if that plays a factor or not. Urquhart over to Yargo. He's got to get a shot on goal. He will, and almost found under the arm. Maximenko tucks it up against his body. A real close call there, and Burnaby almost got themselves within one. Now Schnurr to Connolly. Swing across to Williams. Can't find a lane. Lady. Back over to Williams. Looking 5-hole, and that'll ricochet out of play off of Gill. Fresh 30 for New West, and that's a big reset for them as well. 2.5 to play. New West wants to just kill this clock down if they're able to. And you got to wonder how Burnaby is going to play this. Of course, they need an early goal to give themselves as good of an opportunity as possible, but Keegan Lady may have just dug the knife in and twisted it a little bit more. 3-goal lead for New West with 2:20 on the clock. All off of the rebound from that initial shot off the pad of Gill and out of play with seconds left on the shot clock. Second of the game for Lady. Stick save at the other side. Gill back to his feet. He's starting to leak his way towards the bench. 2 minutes on the clock. Extra attacker making their way on. 6-on-5 set with the net empty. Burnaby still has a chance, but they need a goal on this possession. It's Battiston comes over top. Here's Lucas. They try the dunk, and Maximenko just got a fingertip on it. He has been outstanding for New Westminster tonight. Has seen 46 shots, stopping 39 of them. Again, New West comfortable with killing this clock. There's under 90 seconds to go. There goes Gill to the bench. Burnaby quick in their transition this time around. Net is empty. Battiston over to Oscar Lucas. Got to get something going here for Burnaby. A lot of perimeter work right now. Battiston over to Lucas. Now to the near side. Urquhart as he rises one towards the top corner. Maximenko got the shoulder out in time. Burnaby has possession. It's knocked down, though. A huge hit into the corner by Luke Sonnen, and that leads the transition out of their own zone. Schnurr takes a lap. Low pass towards Kirby. Gauthier crunches him into the boards as that goes back behind the net. Hofer will pick it up. Just 20 seconds, though, on the clock. As New Westminster will head off onto the road 24 hours following their loss last night versus the Langley Thunder, but they answer back with a win against Burnaby. The Lakers had their chances. A couple of unfortunate bounces wind up biting them in the rear end, and now they'll look to try to even up their record when they find their way towards Port Coquitlam on Friday evening, which will be their next game on the schedule. So we'll bring you back inside the booth for one final time here at the Bill Copeland Arena. Player of the game as well as the 3 stars just about to be announced in arena by the public address announcer here, Ryan Chilton. Player of the game is going to be Wyatt Hofer. I mean, how many times did we mention him throughout this game and everything he was able to do on the defensive side of the ball? Your 3 stars, star number 1 is going to be Riley Alexander, a 4-point performance from him of the New Westminster Salmonbellies. Oscar Lucas was pivotal in what was almost a come-from-behind victory for Burnaby. Had a hat trick, had an assist in there as well, and that coming off of his 6-point performance in the win over Delta last weekend. And to wrap things up, Boris Maximenko. I mean, where would New West have been in this game without his talents? Already missing Ren Glanville, already missing Lincoln Twomley, which means the defensive end was going to have to lead the way for New Westminster. And they leaned on their goaltender. Boris Maximenko was outstanding. He is your 3rd star of the game. Again, Burnaby won't have to think about this game for too long. They go back to Poco to take on the Saints on Friday away from home. And then they'll be back here on Sunday afternoon, a matinee matchup on Sunday, 2 p.m. start time against the visiting Nanaimo Timbermen. If you want to catch that game, it'll be right here on Trickshot. Burnaby or on Junior Lakers TV, and the entire crew here, myself included, will be back here to bring you that game again, 2 p.m. on Sunday, where the Lakers take on the Nanaimo Timbermen. For that entire crew of Trickshot, I've been Tino. We thank you very much for joining us for another edition of Burnaby Lakers Junior A Lacrosse. We'll see you on the next one.